Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Code with Rajeshwari. Today we are going to discuss about @state in SwiftUI, a fundamental concept for managing local state in your application. If we are new to SwiftUI or just need a refresher, this is the perfect video for you. So let's get started. First let's discuss about what is @state. In SwiftUI, @state is a special property wrapper that allows a view to manage its own local state. It's perfect for storing values that change over time, like user input, toggles, or counters. The key thing to remember is that whenever a state variable changes in SwiftUI, automatically re-renders the view to reflect the updated state. Let's look at a basic example, a simple counter application. So here is the code. First, I am going to declare @state variable with counter name which starts at 0. Created a variable count equals to 0. So this is what the local variable. Whenever the button is tapped, count should be increased. That is what we are going to implement now. Let's get started. So inside a VStack, I am just taking a text object so that we'll visibly see how the count will be getting increased. So creating a text inside a VStack with name count. And since the count is marked with state, SwiftUI automatically updates the UI to show the new value. When you declare a variable with @state in SwiftUI, that stores the actual data outside of the view structure. This is important because SwiftUI views are structures, which means they are recreated whenever the UI updates. If the data were stored directly inside the structure, it would be reset every time the view is re-rendered. So I'm just taking a button here so that it should visible how the value will be increased. So inside a button, I'm just incrementing the value with +1. So the initial count is 0. Whenever the button is tapped, I'm just making the increment logic here. So adding just padding and adding the background color to see more visibly, and applying the color for the background. So taking the color dot with blue color and trying to add some foreground color. So and corner radius as well. Corner radius I'm taking it as 10, and the foreground color, since the background was blue color, I'm just taking the foreground color as well so that it will be visible more. If you see here, when I click on the increment button, the count is getting incremented. So this is how the state variable works in SwiftUI. So let's talk about when to use @state. So the data is local to the view, and the data is simple and doesn't need to be shared across views. In these times we can use @state variable, and if you wanted the view to automatically update when the value changes, these times we can use @state variable. And when we don't need to use the @state, so it means the data needs to be shared multiple views. For suppose, take an example, if you wanted to update any kind of variable data inside the view only for once, then you can use and go for @state. And if you wanted to share the values for multiple views, we can use observed object instead of state. So the state comes from an external source like a database or API. These times we should not use @state. When using @state, it's crucial to remember that it should only be used for lightweight and within a single view. Overusing state for complex state management can lead to some code errors. Instead of opt for state object or observed object in such cases. I will cover @observed object in future videos. So be sure to subscribe for them. Alright, that's a quick introduction to @state in SwiftUI. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and let me know in the comments.